Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Tiffany from TV Butter. Thank you so much for joining me today. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about junk journal, and I'm going to talk about Traveler's Notebook standard size junk journal to be specific. Of course, you can make any sizes of junk journal. It doesn't have to be standard size, but today I only have like standard size to show you all. That's why I'll be focusing on the standard size. So today I'm just gonna go through all my materials that I'm using to make my junk journals. So first of all, it's a disclaimer. I am not an expert. This video is not, one of those junk journal 101 or make a junk journal with me. It's not like that. Because I've filmed a video talks about how I make my junk journal like 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So I think it's time to have an update on that because I did improve a little bit and I have more stuff with me right now. I have my sewing machine, I have different kind of materials to share with you, and yeah, let's just get started. This video will be a long one and it will be a chatty one. So if you don't like this kind of video, please check out my other videos. Sometimes I just play background music. So anyway, in front of you, I have a couple of example. So this junk journal was gifted for me from Meg. I will link her Instagram and YouTube channel down below. So she is brilliant, she is amazing. She gifted to me a couple months ago and it's just so beautiful, so beautiful. So this is like a fabric soft cover. And this is a painted hardcover Traveler's Notebook junk journal. I will say it's hardcover because it's pretty hard. And this is my Traveler's Notebook Olive Edition. I'm just gonna show you what kind of journal that I'm using right now. And this is a regular notebook, as you can see. And this is the junk journal that I just finished. And I have like 8 journals in the corner right now that I'm going to show you in a minute. Those are the journals that I'm currently making for sale. Hopefully I can at the beginning of July. Finger crossed, because this is a big project. I'm currently making 10 junk journals and hopefully you will like them. And yeah, anyway, so let's get started. I'm just gonna talk about what are the differences. So for example, I have this one. This is like a regular plain insert Traveler's Notebook refill. So this is not a junk journal. So what is a junk journal? I cannot give a definition in this video because I don't think there is a definition. So basically for me, junk journal is like you have different types of paper in your journal and different sizes, different color, different kind of paper, and sometimes you can have an envelope, you have like decoration or maybe no decoration. So for me, that is junk journal. Originally, I've heard junk journal, whoever invented this, thank you so much. So originally, it's like really junk journal was made with trash. So those papers that nobody is using, people just collect those paper, collect those envelope, collect pockets, and then just put them all together and buy them all together. And this is the junk journal. But along the year, I really think that junk journal has changed a little bit because people start to decorate it, make it beautiful, give it different theme, give it different definition. So I am not sure what exactly is a junk journal. That's why this video is not a junk journal 101. I cannot give you a definition. But personally, for me, in my opinion, junk journal is mixed with different types of paper, and yeah, sometimes you can decorate it or you don't, or you throw different envelopes in there. So this is the junk journal. You can keep it plain, you can make it beautiful, you can make it hardcover, you can make it fabric cover, you can make it just a plain cover, or you can make with scrapbook paper cover. So how to turn a regular refill like this one to a zhong journal is pretty easy, just unstable. You see here there are two stables. I'm so sorry about the lighting. If it's not perfect, I apologize, because today is so gloomy, it's raining. That's why I have this all shadow and everything. I apologize. But anyway, I hope you can see those two staples in the binding here. Just unstable them, and then you have a piles of paper. You can mix and match different types of paper, like this one, that's like what I did for my volume 7. This is, for me, this is a zhong journal. Even though I didn't decorate the cover, I keep the original cover here, and then I keep the Traveler's Notebook, what's it called, cover page, and then I just throw watercolor paper and ledger paper. As you can see, I throw line paper, more watercolor paper, and this is the volume paper, and more watercolor paper. This is like a small grid paper, like tiny grid, and I throw this baby blue plain color, and I have this yellow ledger paper as well. So yeah, this is just a basic example for you. If you prefer a plain look, like a regular refill, you just need a different, you just need some different kinds of paper to gather them together and throw them all together with the cover. And here we go. And then you can, like me, I just punch the binding, and then I sew them, sew all the paper together with the thread, and is ready to go, and you can journal in it. So why don't I just use a regular paper? So reason one is because I practice my watercolor a lot. I love watercoloring. I instead of taking photos, like I mentioned in my last video, instead of taking photos, I tend to draw. I draw my memory, I draw what happened today, I draw my vacation, I draw what I've seen daily. So it's like a practice for me, and I really enjoy drawing. So I need watercolor paper in my traveler's notebook. I know there's a lot of people out there, those artists, they just draw on the regular paper, but I just don't like the wrinkle, and I really don't think the paper is good for heavy watercolor, because I do a lot of wet on wet skill. So that means it requires a thicker paper for the water, because it has a lot of water. I need to use a lot of water on the wet on wet skill. That's why I really need watercolor paper in my traveler's notebook, in my journal, in my insert. That's when I started to think about, oh, maybe I can just mix and match different paper together to make a plain notebook, to make a regular notebook. So that's why the regular refill no longer meet my request. I'll put it this way, I don't know the right words, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. English is not my first language, so I'm trying hard to put myself all together to film this video. But anyway, that's the reason one, why I like zhong journal. Reason two is because I like to try different types of paper, and I like to pick a paper, actually, to pick a different paper to document my day. Like for example, today I'm a little bit blue. I'm a little bit upset just for no reason. So probably I would just pick a blue background of paper to journal with, because that's my mood right now. But yesterday I was pretty happy. I was like excited to go around and to explore, to browse around Canada or Vancouver. Then I can pick a random, watercolor page, and then a bright background page to document my day. So I can draw whatever I see, and then I can document it on the left. So this is why I love different types of paper, because I can randomly pick a page and then start journaling it. So for the plain paper, all the pages are the same. I'm not saying it's bad. It is fantastic. I really love the regular refill as well, because I started with the regular refill, right? It's just give you this minimalistic look of the refill, and then you know what you are writing at, you know what you're looking at, and you don't feel stressful, you don't feel challenging. And I do feel a little bit challenged when I journal in my junk journal, because sometimes I just feel like none of those pages really, represent my mood today, and I don't really want to draw watercolor, but I have so many watercolor paper in here. What I'm going to do with it is challenging. So it really depends on what you need and what is your preference. I love them both. I really do. So I cannot pick like my favorite. I really love to journal in both refill. The only reason is because I love watercoloring. That's why I need watercolor in my junk journal. That's why I make junk journal. So those are just some easy way to create your own junk journal. Of course, there's so many different kind of paper out there. You can leave it plain like mine. I didn't tea dye or coffee dye my paper. They are what they are, and they kept the original color. Of course, you can tea dye them, you can coffee dye them to make a unique junk journal and give it different characteristic, give it different texture, and etc. Making junk journal is a pure joy. You can choose whatever you like. You can make whatever you like. I think that is the beauty of journaling. I think that's beauty of junk journal. Your journal, they are what you are. Whenever you journal in your journal, you tend to be yourself. You want to be honest with your journal. That's what I'm doing right now. Like if I have a bad day, I will just keep it plain. I will just write things down. That's it. I don't even use different colors of fountain pen. I don't even throw watercolor painting in there. I don't even decorate it with washi tape. I leave it plain. I just write things down. And if I have an active day, if I am on a vacation, or I just finished a vacation, then I'm super hyper to journal about the vacation. Then I will throw whatever I've seen, on the road in my journal, and they seems to be more active, more positive, and I throw different ephemera in my journal page, and I throw, watercolor painting, and they are super colorful. So your journal really is your personal belongings. Take care of them. They are who you are, and let them be your friends. Be honest with them. That's why I love journaling. Again, it's a side story. So the junk journal I'm currently using is this one. I make this one, I didn't make this notebook. I got this notebook quite a few years ago. It's a plain grid notebook. So you guys might ask me like, hey, you say you like junk journal. Yes, but I have so many plain refill and grid refill or line refill that they are waiting for me to journal in them. So I have to finish. I have to use them all. So I did a little doodle or illustration on the cover. This is a vintage illustration that I just, mimic from a book. And then, this is my journal. Like I mentioned, I really love watercoloring, so I really need watercolor paper in my journal. So the solution is, I just trim the watercolor into the standard, Traveler's Notebook standard size, and then I just glue it down. So this is watercolor paper, but on the left is the regular grid paper. And this half page is watercolor paper, and then I just trim it into a little square paper, and then I just glue it on top of the regular grid paper. And yeah, this is a watercolor paper, and this is a regular paper. So I really need to have watercolor papers in here. I have tons and tons. This is a watercolor paper, and this half page is another watercolor paper. So this is my solution so far, because I don't really want to unstable. Actually, there's no stable for the binding. They really use machine to sew the binding, so there's no way that I can transform this journal. So this is my solution, and it works really well. So yeah, I just can't wait to fill this up. So this is the journal that I'm currently using for my daily need on my daily basis. I don't really journal every single day. Sometimes I'm busy, sometimes if I have time I will journal in it, but this is my current chocolate notebook. And oh, by the way, I have filmed a flip through of this volume 7. I will leave a card here and also a link down below, so make sure you check it out because I really love this insert. So let's move on. We talk about the basic plain junk journal. Let's move on to those a little bit more complicated journal. I have an example. Let me just grab an example. So this is the chocolate notebook that I am working on, and I will be selling them very soon, so stay tuned. But anyway, those are the chocolate notebook junk journal that I want to talk about today. So this is a hardcover, this is a soft fabric cover, and this is a soft scrapbook cover. So what are the difference is basically the cover. So this one I spent tons of time on the cover because I painted one layer. I have to wait until it's dry, and then I apply another one and wait until it's dry, and then I put another, what is it called, like cereal box cardstock paper on top of it, and then I created this little window, and then inside you can see there's a little flowers and leaves and just a little bit of the decoration. And then the whole cover I made it with the cereal cardstock paper. So as you can see, because also I apply acrylic on top of it. No, it's not acrylic, it's actually deco paint, which means it's thicker than the regular acrylic. The deco paint is basically the paints that you use on the wall. That's why I chose that for the cover. So as you can see, the cover is pretty sturdy. That is a bonus. But of course, every journal comes with pros and cons. Like I said, this is really sturdy, but the other thing is I cannot put a lot of papers in this cover, with this cover, because it will just be like super bulky, and because it's not flexible, it's not bendable. So the coverage, the insert is kind of just like showing off to everybody. So I can only put a few papers in here, and then of course I decorated with some vintage fabrics as a bookmark, and on top I do include a lot of different fabric as well. Pros and cons is really sturdy, but I just cannot put a tons of papers in here, not like those two. I can put like so many decoration, I can make it as bulk as I can, but this one just I cannot. So this is the painted cover, and it took me a long time to finish the cover as well. That's another thing that you need to consider if you want to create a painted cover. You will need a more thicker cardstock. That's why I chose the cereal box, because for the regular cardstock, I don't think it will work on this heavy paint. So that's another thing that you need to think about. And plus, you have to invest another money on the painting as well. They're not cheap. The one that I got is this brand, Martha Stewart Craft Vintage Deco Paint. But the color is fantastic. I really love the color that they have. It's this muted color. It's not like bright color. It's muted. It has a little bit white paint in it. That's why it's so muted. And I just love it. So yeah, this is the hardcover for the chocolate notebook. And then we have this two. This is a soft cover, and this one is fabric, and this one is scrapbook paper. And I'm just gonna open this up because this journal is beautiful. Thank you so much, Meg. I'm so sorry I couldn't make another journal and repay you, but soon I will make a journal, trust me. Seriously, this journal is so beautiful. She includes this little window with the tea dye volume paper, and yeah, all the sewing, and different pages. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait. I cannot wait to use this one to document my life and drawing as well. So there's a tuck spot or a pocket. So beautiful. This one looks like a wallpaper or something. Oh, the details is beautiful. Another window and music paper. And here's a pocket. On and on and on. It's so beautiful. Please check her out. She's amazing. Anyway, so this is a fabric cover. This is a regular scrapbook cover, as you can see. So the fabric cover, I would say, is more durable. It's more, it can take more damage. I would say in this way, because it's fabric. So I don't really want to carry those two around with me if I really need to journal, unless I have a cover, because even for the fabric cover, as you can see, you will have this raw edge. I always keep this two, not this one, I always keep this one at home and just look at it, admire it. So yeah, that's the fabric cover. You can really be creative on it. As you can see, she put like lace and trims in here. She even include this closure with the sorry silk and everything. Like, you can decorate the cover for sure. So the scrapbook paper cover, like this one, the scrapbook paper is definitely very durable, but I have to say, compared to other journal, this one is the weakest. But of course, these two is the same. I would say it's the same, because they are just scrapbook paper, just a thicker version of regular paper, right? So, but still, this one I wouldn't carry around with me unless I have a leather cover or a traveler's notebook cover. I will put this one inside my traveler's notebook and just, you know, just journal in it. I won't just carry this one and throw it in the bag. I would not do it. And then, but the pros are, you have this beautiful pattern, beautiful pattern. Most of the time, I got my scrapbook paper from Team Holtz and Graphic 45. I love Team Holtz. I really do. They offer so reasonable prices for every single thing. If you are a beginner, just like me, I'm a beginner in this junk journal world. But if you are a beginner, I highly recommend this brand. But of course, if you are making your first junk journal, make sure you like it. Don't buy anything before you actually know that you enjoy journaling in junk journal. Because I don't want you to spend like tons of money and buy all the decoration, and then you figure out you only like plain paper. You only like to journal in the regular paper, and that is shame. I don't want to promote that kind of idea in my channel. So make sure you like them before you purchase. You can purchase from other artists. There are tons of artists on Etsy that are selling traveler's notebook junk journal. Make sure you go, you know, you go to them, you reach out to them, and you got one from them to just give yourself a try. Give it a try to figure out if you really like junk journal. So this is a scrapbook paper that I got. This pattern probably is Graphic 45, but I really love Team Holtz. Super durable, high quality print on the cover. So vintage. I love vintage. I love retro. I love 19th century, 20th century artist. I made a junk journal before, the author Rackham. So this is kind of a continued version after that. So this, like you can see, is Van Gogh. I love this scrapbook paper because Van Gogh gave me a feeling of like dramatic, high contrast, and super creative, and kind of lost in his own mind. So this cover just remind me of him because high contrast and really beautiful botanical. At the background, it has this really beautiful words, looks like a letter from 19th century. I just love the feel of it, so that's why I created this cover for him. And this journal will be about him. I like the idea to have like different artists included in each of my journal, and then I get to know them. I know what they went through. I know why, like basic idea why they become so famous and what kind of painting they are doing. Is that impressionism or other, you know, like modern or whatever. I'm so sorry if you can hear the cars. My desk is by the window, so yeah. But anyway, this is my my junk journal. So how to make a journal like this? Like finally, let's get into the point. The materials that I'm using, I have tons of materials. Like I love cheesecloth. I have like, where's my cheesecloth? So I have this bag. This bag has most of my ribbon, cheesecloth, fabric, and then sorry silk. Let me just open it up. So this is cheesecloth. Of course, there's some ribbon as well. So cheesecloth is those, you know, cloth. I don't know. It's kind of this material see-through. It has different. I think it's cotton, and then mostly is a regular fabric for. I don't know. Sometimes I use it for bookbinding as well. But for binding, I have another bookbinding fabric that I will show you in a minute. But this one, of course, they coffee dye it or tea dye it, just make it look vintage and just this old looking, grungy. That's the word I'm looking for. So I love cheesecloth because whenever I put just a little bit of cheesecloth at the background plus some burlap or little vintage cotton fabric, it just creates this vintage look right away. I love the vibe, so I always work with cheesecloth and different kind of fabric. That's the reason why I love them. And then if you like here, I will just show you this insert. You can see there's some cheesecloth at the back of this train ticket. This is a real vintage Britain train ticket, British train ticket. British train ticket. And then at the back I just put some cheesecloth, and here as well this is a reproduction. It's a printable from my Etsy shop. So this is another train ticket. I just put another cheesecloth at the background and then decorate it with some charms. So right away they just look different. They just look so vintage. That's why I love cheesecloth. If you would like to give it a try, you know, just a little bit of cheesecloth everywhere. So yeah, I really love to work with cheesecloth. Also, I have this sorry silk. I'm not sure if this is called sorry silk, but is this like dyed fabric? I think most of them they're from India. I think it's like a special technique from India. They just color dye this ribbon, and I love to make different like collage. Like this one, I make a little, you know, double collage at the background again. And do I have more in this one? No, maybe I have on the other cover. I can show you this one. I just make a little bow here, and then at the background again cheesecloth, no, ribbon, sorry silk, and then here is more vintage lace, and on top of it I have a little pen nib. So yeah, you can be really creative with them. You can purchase laces, sorry silk, cheesecloth on Etsy, on eBay. I will make sure to link the shops down below if I can find all of them, because I really gather and collect all my resources every single day, everywhere. But most of the time I will just go to if I'm looking for vintage books, I will go to eBay, because most of the time they offer the cheapest book with free shipping. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'll go to eBay. But if I'm looking for some handcrafted fabric like this one, or coffee dye cheesecloth, or vintage lace lot, I will go to Etsy, because they have tons of different choices. But I have, like, you know, those vintage postcard here, and this is vintage leather. I will go to eBay, because a lot of time they have this, make sure you put vintage postcard lot, and then they will have tons of love. Sometimes you can beat, sometimes they sell it, you know, like a bundle at a very reasonable price. Probably for 100 postcard, you only need to pay like 30 bucks, and that 100 postcard can last you a long time. But anyway, so those are some resources. Most of the time I just go to eBay and then Etsy, and sometimes I will I have followed a few Instagram accounts on Instagram, and they are selling vintage goods as well, like vintage paper, vintage train ticket, like this one. I got this bag. I think this one is from eBay, but I have this bag, this train ticket. Look at that. This train ticket is a real vintage ticket. Oh my god, look at that. They have a train stamps on it. I got this one from an Instagram account or seller. So I will link her down below. She really has different kinds of tickets and goods and tins, and it's just lovely. It's lovely. But again, before you really dive in this whole junk journal community, make sure you like it. If you are a beginner, I highly recommend, and I still recommend as a journal maker, go to Tim Holtz. Those are the ephemera pack from Tim Holtz. They are high quality, and they come with two versions now, I believe, for those ephemera pack. One is the cardstock, the other one is regular paper, like a thicker paper. And they're both very high quality, and I cannot recommend it enough. Check it out, really check it out. You can get it off Amazon, Salmon Safe Steps, everywhere. And then for the little accessory decoration here, I have those little plastic cup on my desk. Let me just put this away. Oh my gosh, so messy. I have this plastic cup that I have to store some of my accessory. Again, you don't have to purchase those before you know that you like to journal in junk journal. But this is like safety pin. I use it a lot in my journal when I want to clip anything or decorate anything. I can put such as for example, do I have, oh yeah, I have charms in here. You can just basically connect it with a charm, and then you can put it at the background here, and then you have a little dangle thing, or you punch a hole. You have a hole punch, you punch a hole, and then you decorate it with this one. So it's kind of like a bookmark, and then you will have a charm hanging around in your journal. Where is my painted journal? Okay, let me show you an example. I have one in my journal, in my finished journal, like this one. So I punch a little, I hope you can see. Okay, I punch a little hole in here, and then I decorate it with a little charm. This is a pocket that I make with vintage book page. So yeah, you can make a little charm in here. It's beautiful. I love it. But of course, with those charms, I will link it down below as well. I got this pack for like very cheap price. You can basically tell the seller what theme you're looking for, and she will try to collect a similar theme for you, and she's really thoughtful. So I'll link her down below. So basically, you can just decorate it on the cover, or you can use a charm as this one, as it is, you know, just glue it down and then just decorate it with some printable or real ephemera, and then you can, there you go, you have it, a little vintage decorative corner. So I love charms, I really do. And the second thing, the next thing, not second thing that I want to talk about is those metal plate. It's from Tim Holtz again, and I use those plates because they have different words. On the plate, I'm gonna show you like this. Hope you can see. The lighting is really bad, I apologize. And yeah, they have different words on the plate. You can choose your favorite words and then just put it on the cover. I put the Van Gogh one with story, and then I have this one with the heart metal plate, and then I have the Vermeer, I believe that's his name, with the plate life. Yeah, I just love it. Talking about plate, I have another one. They're all from Tim Holtz. Make sure you browse around. I have a number plate. I love number plate. It just looks so authentic and so vintage from like 1940 or 50. And those number plates just remind me of those door plates, so I just love them. I have a little number plate in here, and I have a little like a tuck spot on the cover as well. I think it's pretty, so yeah. So this is another cover. And then I have a little bottle. So this one I am going to make a little bookmark with those little bottle, like in this journal. So I just put some cheesecloth and a little piece of leather paper. Of course, it's written, it's vintage, and then I just put them all together in this little bottle. It looks like a little, medicine bottle, whatever. You can have your own label, medicine label, and then just put it on top of the bottle, and it just looked like a medicine jar. So that's a little decoration. I have this plate. Whenever I want to clip the ephemera on the page, I use those plate. And of course, sometimes I have this little version of the bookmark as well. They're all from Tim Holtz. That's why I love Tim Holtz. I told you. If you don't want to, purchase the real vintage or whatever, and Tim Holtz is the best version, best option. I will say that because I really love Tim Holtz. The next thing is glue. And yeah, I have two glue to show you here. This is tacky glue. I got it from a fabric store, local fabric store. It's $7. And this is fabric tack. Originally, it's 40 from Michael's, but I used a coupon, so eventually I pay like 20 something. So if you're just making junk journals by yourself, try the tacky glue because it works. It works on paper, it works on fabrics. But why I changed to the fabric tack is because it's just super strong. It dries so fast. It just works perfect. I use it to glue all the papers, all the fabrics, the metal plate. It works on the metal plate as well. See, it's not removable. It's so strong. The fabric tag is super strong, but it stings a little bit and it dries really quick. So make sure you position it right, and then you put the glue and then you glue it down right away. It dries pretty quick as well. So this fabric tag is permanent adhesive, bones fabrics, lace, glass, leather, wood, and trims. And I will add metal as well. I'm not sure about like gigantic piece of metal, but those metal plates and those little bookmarks or charms, it works fine. It works perfect. So again, if you're just starting to make journal, try this one. But if you want to invest a little bit and you want to improve your skill, or you want to decorate your journal just a little bit more fancier, use fabric tack. I think this is like the third bottle from me already, so I love it. I always go to Michael's and purchase one whenever they have like crazy discount. I will only go and use the coupon on this one because this is just what I need. And then, let's go back to the ephemera. I'm so sorry. So this is like one version of the ephemera. You can buy it off Tim Holtz. This is the brand. This is a Tim Holtz Idea-ology. They come with different packs, different sizes, different version. Like I said, they have the cardstock version. This is the regular version. And they have the bigger version. This is the smaller version. Sometimes to decorate a little corner like this one, it's good to use the smaller one. And also you can find those printable. So these are from my shop. They are this medical label. I scan them and then I just, get them together and I make printable on my Etsy shop as well. So this is a vintage postcard. Again, I scan them, and then after I print them out, I will, of course, cut them, trim them off, and then I use the ink to kind of make it look vintage. So this is another option if you don't want to, again, spend that much money on vintage ephemera. I highly recommend you go on Etsy and try to find printable. There are millions of beautiful printable on Etsy. So you're trying to find them on Etsy. Or there's another way that you don't need to spend money at all, and that is Pinterest and Google. If you only, making the junk journal for yourself, I will highly recommend you go Pinterest and Google. Like, this is a bad example because I'm selling those printable, but because they are public domain, basically they can be used in commercial use. It's the cheapest way you can gather your own ephemera. So 3 ways you can get it from Tim Holtz, you can get it off Etsy, printable, and then you can just get it from Google and Pinterest. Highly recommend. There are multiple ways where you can access to beautiful printable. So make sure you make up your mind. And then the next thing I would like to talk about is there's some like necessary, I would say, like those. Oh, and then I have this. Okay, so this is like my needle pouch, and this is my ink pad. And oops, this is another thing that I want to talk about. Another thing that I want to talk about. So regarding the ink, I always find this one. This is the Ranger Distress Permanent Ink. It's waterproof, I would say, in this way, but I never put it in the water because I put it in a junk journal, right? So they have like 4 colors. It's like a eyeshadow palette. They have the Hickory Smoke, Vintage Photo, Ground Espresso, and Black Suit. I tend to use this 2 the most because black is just too grungy. I don't prefer that grungy in my vintage journal, in my junk journal, and this color just seems a little bit off of my topics, so I use this 2 the most. I use this 2 color to kind of make my printable a little bit more vintage. Just use this applicator, I don't know, like a sponge kind of thing. You can switch the head of the sponge. If this one is worn out, this one is pretty dirty, probably I need to. It comes with 2 versions. One is the rectangle version, this one is just the round version. I don't see any difference from it. This is what I currently have, so I'm just gonna use this one. And then scissor. A lot of you ask me where I got this pair of scissors. I got it from Michael's, but unfortunately they no longer carry this one. But this one is a fabric scissors. So make sure if you can buy a pair of good scissors, go with the fabric one, because you will never ever know that when you're gonna like to trim some fabrics and put in your journal. Sometimes you can make a pocket out of it. Again, I will give you an example because I just made a pocket yesterday, like this one. I just trimmed it from a vintage fabric, really old French vintage fabrics, and then I make a pocket in this journal. So yeah, I love fabrics. I love to trim different kind of fabrics, no matter it's modern or vintage. That's why I always went with the fabric scissor, and of course it works perfectly on papers as well. So yeah, if you just buy a regular paper scissors, it won't work on the fabric because it's not sharp enough. And then I have this is like a needle pouch. I will link it down below as well, but usually, as you can see, it's very dangerous. I have a little needle here, but after I finish, I usually put it back. But because currently I'm making journals, that's why I stick this needle on the cover, but it's kind of like a little needle pouch. It's a regular needle pouch. I put all my needles in here, different sizes, different length, different head, like, different sizes. But yeah, this is my needle pouch, not professional at all because I'm not a sewer. And most of the time I will use my Singer heavy duty sewing machine. But this is my needle pouch. I have my T ruler. Why I need a T ruler, I don't even know, but it's just really good for you to make a straight line. Yeah, it's really good for you to make a straight line, I would say. So I use this one a lot. I got it off Simon Says Step. I will link it down below as well. And this is a heavy duty oil. Is it called oil? Or oil? No, AWL. I don't know how to pronounce it. This is a heavy duty one because I used to have one that was not heavy duty. So whenever I put like tons of paper, it doesn't work. It didn't work through all the papers. So I changed to this heavy duty one. Got it from Etsy. And this is a Typhoon bone folder. It's quite pricey. I think it's like 30 something or 40. It's quite pricey as a bone folder. You can get a cheaper one from anywhere. The reason why I go with this one because it works so well whenever I try to fold it and it doesn't break the paper. And as you know that coffee dye paper, sometimes they're very fragile. But I use this one on them, they don't break. So yeah, I really like this one. And this is a book binding fabric kind of thing, like cloth. Is this really sturdy, mostly like paper texture, but they are fabric kind of thing. It's see-through. When I make bigger journal, I use this one to secure the binding because I don't feel secure with only paper, neither with only a piece of thin fabric. So I always have this book binding fabric to bind the paper when I make the bigger journals, just to make sure it's a sturdy journal when I make them. So I use this one a lot. And of course, free to use any kind of vintage button because it's a really nice decoration. I have those collected from different store, like thrift store, fabric store, Etsy store, anywhere. And talking about fabric, I do have like different jar. Let me just put those away. This video, like I said, is a long video. I hope you are hanging there. I hope you find this video is informative, and yeah. And this is a mason jar, and I have another jar here. So this one has like smaller bits and pieces. So whenever I'm looking for a smaller cheesecloth, I can reach this one. And this one is like my go-to kind of trash bin. I would say I have like laces, and I have like another type of cheesecloth. I have fabrics, yeah, everything. I have everything in here. And then this one is for like small but bigger fabric pieces than this one. So whenever I create a fabric collage pocket, I reach to this jar. So it has like bigger pieces, as you can see. So yeah, I have like these two jars to house my on-the-go fabric, lace, miscellaneous items in this two jar. And I have some coffee dye paper. Of course, this is a must. If I need to talk about books, I have to tell you, I got most of my vintage book off eBay because, again, like I mentioned earlier, they have like the cheapest price. Sometimes they offer free shipping or low shipping. This ICS reference library bookkeeping book. So in this book, it's beautiful. In this book, they have different charts. As you can see, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And sometimes they have plain words too, but it doesn't really matter as long as they have a little bit of image here and there. I really love them. And originally, they just have this vintage board already. Look at that. It's so beautiful. This one is so beautiful. And look at this cover paper. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. I'm so lucky that I snapped it from eBay a while ago. And this one is the Burnett College Keeping Library, and is building construction. So as soon as I search, you know, science book or construction book or I don't know, like textbook or library book or pre-owned book or something, they will have this. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Look at this image, and they're telling you how to make a window like this. That is crazy. I will never ever learn how to. I'm not a constructor, but I always admire whoever they can, because my side story, because my husband's grandfather, he made his own cabin on a little island. Beautiful, beautiful. It's by the sea and everything. He made his own cabin by himself from wood, and then he put, like, you know, water, he put electricity, he put heat, and he built this beautiful fireplace and built all the windows. He built the whole house by himself. I'm just like, how, you know, like, just how? But he was a professor in a university. But anyway, go back to this book. Yeah, I just did teaching you how to build your own door and everything. Is crazy. It's crazy. I love this one. So like I said, just have some figures and images, and it's just good to go. Sometimes they have this, you know, like measurement or unique name for this little thing. This is exactly what I'm looking for, because you want to, sometimes I want my journals look a little bit professional. It has a little bit of things to see, to read in my junk journal, not just plain white papers or random illustration, but actually you can see and read something. Sometimes it's a poem or something. This is interesting, very interesting. I always think that the elder generation, even, you know, my parents, they're way smarter than me, because I rely on technology so much, which I shouldn't. But I'm glad that I'm making things with my own hands. I'm making journals, at least. Probably everyone can, but I'm still making things with my own hands, and I feel really proud of that. And this is my go-to book plate. If you talk about illustration, watercolor, this is a Jeanette Marsh nature study. And my top one go-to, of course, is the Edwardian lady. I don't have it handy right now, but you can see I ripped a lot of pages from this book already. But of course, I have a lot of backups. Beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful illustration for a different month, for different seasons. Yeah, they're just beautiful. And this one, as you can see, is a little bit bigger than the regular book. And that's another thing, the sizing. So if you're making a traveler's notebook journal like this one, is mostly I make the cover a little bit bigger. I make it into like 8.5 by 4.5. But I think the original insert or refill size is 4.22 by 8.25 or something like that. But I just make it a little bit bigger to cover the insert. So this insert, sometimes it fits, sometimes it doesn't. Usually I have to trim a little bit down. But yeah, I just try to avoid to trim the most beautiful parts, but it's very hard with this book. So sometimes if this big, I will make a triangle, not triangle, I will make a double fold to make it into an envelope, which I showed you earlier with this journal. I make the pocket in the center. So as you can see, I fold this side and I fold here, so I can make it into an envelope in the center. Just make sure before you glue the edge, make sure you bind the binding first, because if you glue it, it's really hard to bind it. It's possible, but I would not do it. So bind the binding first, and then you can glue it, and then boom, here is an envelope, and you can create a little like triangle corner here to make it a little bit more interesting. But you get what I mean, like different sizing, you can just make it into different pockets. And yeah, beautiful illustration. I love this one. And on most of my updated journal, I think in the center, not this one, I make a pocket in here. So in the center is a pocket, and then of course I'm using this book as well, but I make this book into a little like a side pocket kind of thing. You can see here is a side pocket. I'm gonna sew the edge of the pocket so you can put things in here, you can tuck things in the pocket. So yeah, this is my another watercolor book. So those are the insert. The paper, as you can see, this is just an example that waiting for me to put in a cover. So this is a regular letter size paper that I coffee dye. So when you coffee dye, make sure you overlap some of the papers. And this is a plain words poem page. Yeah, I got this poem book for Canadian poet, and this one is Charles Meyer. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I just put it in here, and then of course I have like I said, different types of paper. This one is kind of like a grid paper. It has the number 75 in the corner. Beautiful. I don't know what's the word for this. Word iridescent or something. I think Nick mentioned this before, but I totally forgot. Another grid paper. This paper is thicker, and another poem paper. Yep, another poem paper, and this is a real vintage notebook paper. Beautiful, beautiful. I didn't tea dye this one because it already looked very grungy and vintage. Ledger paper, more vintage copy with original writing in it. Letter, plain paper, and this is like a fold out. This is like another ledger paper or coding form. Interesting. And this is the construction book that we just looked at. And look at this chart. Look at this figure. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. And this real vintage ledger paper is real writing. I didn't tea dye it. It looks as it is, and it's just a bookkeeping. Look at the ink and everything. Oh my god, beautiful. And the watercolor book that I just showed you about the nature, and more ledger paper, and this is the center. So yeah, what I do is just fold everything in half. You can either like vertically or horizontally fold them, and then kind of like arrange things around, and I will trim it before I put it in the notebook. And I trim like 2 pages maximum because my trimmer is not that good. So I'll just make sure the edge is sharp and everything. I don't want to cause any fussy kind of edge, so I trim it before I put it in my pocket, in my Chartful's notebook. And the other thing that I want to talk about is after you put all the pages in your journals, in your cover, you will see the center part is kind of like sticking out, because of course the binding here, like you are creating the bulk. The center part is kind of like, even though you cut them in the same size, but the center part, it was slightly sticking out because of the thickness. So now is the time that I trim them again. So I would just trim, you know, like 3 times or 4 times for each notebook. So yeah, that is that. And then you can use those coffee dye paper to have some printable. Like sometimes I will print pattern paper on top of it, like this one, but my printer is very suck. My printer stopped working for me lately, so I need to buy a good printer. So this is a pattern paper that I print on the coffee dye paper. Just make sure you choose the paper, a coffee dye paper that intends to lay flat, so it doesn't cause like paper jam or anything. But other than that, I think it's good. Sometimes I print, sometimes I use the original copy. You just make sure your journal has different kinds of paper. That's the goal. That is the junk journal, right? So yeah, that's everything. The next video, I think I'm just gonna do a flip through on my beautiful junk journals. I can't wait to show you guys. Like, I will just randomly show you the cover because I haven't decorated whatever inside the journal, but oh my god, look at that. Sometimes I create little pockets, sometimes I have a little album, you will see in a minute. Sometimes I collage, you know, the paper all together. They're yummy, they're gorgeous, I love them. I can't wait to share with you. I'm so excited. I think this is the time to wrap this up. Oh my god, I talked about it for so long. I will need to trim the video really hard. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video is sort of inspiring. Please excuse the lighting. I know I have a lot of shadow in here, just the day's weather is not that great. And again, you don't need to spend a tons of money before you dive in this road. Make sure you like junk journal first. Make sure you make the most plain one, like this one. Use a regular refill to make a junk journal for yourself first, and then you try, you know, different sizing, different paper. Make sure you like it before you purchase it and do all the decoration. And if you like it, congratulations. And if you don't like, yeah, whatever, go back to your regular refill. There's no big deal. There's no big deals at all. I think this is like, you know, it's your junk journal, it's your journal, it's your type of journaling, it's your way to journal your day. Eventually, this book belongs to you, and then you can pass it on to your next generation or share with your family or whatever. It's like a memory keeping, and you will be looking at it, and so you have to like it. You have to do it in your own way. Don't be surprised that, oh, I don't like different types of paper. That is totally fine, because a lot of people out there, they're just looking for a minimalistic look. They just want to stay with the same paper, regular kind of journaling style, and that is totally fine. Like I said, your journal is who you are. Eventually, at the end of the day, you are the one reading it and tearing up or be happy or whatever. This is your whole secret cabinet. This is your whole secret kind of little room for yourself. I think that is the beauty of journal, because you can be yourself in your journal. You can be honest. Your journal are your best friend. Your journals are the silent friend that you can throw any dark thoughts, any negativity, anything in it. But the thing is, move on. When you move on to your next page, move on to your next spread, you can be positive again. You can be happy again. You can be all this cheerful, colorful, active journaling. You can go back to it. I think that is the key of journal. You can let it be negative all the way down, but just make sure you go back to it. You know, you get yourself all together and go back to the positive side of the world. I will see you guys in my next video soon. I'm very tired and I need to edit this video right away because I need to post this up today. So yeah, I will see you in my next video soon. Bye bye, have a great day.